Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We've got Friday's play-in games here for you guys. A couple 8-9s matching up in an actual elimination game. Loser does go home. Winners will get the 8 seed in the playoffs. In this one, we are taking a look at the Eastern Conference version of this as the Hawks are taking on the Hornets in Atlanta. I think we both like Atlanta a lot. Atlanta is a very, very good team right now, and you should all know that. So we'll jump into some of the best bets in here. Nate does have his great article up on playpicks.com with some best bets and player props in there for you. The man is not sleeping right now with baseball and basketball, so make sure you're getting all that good content on playpicks.com there. And make sure to like and subscribe to that page as well. Check out the other video we'll have, that Western Conference version. We'll have some player props continuing for you guys throughout the playoffs as well. We're going to get those Saturday slate games in there as well. Start getting those up on the board with the first real playoff game series starting. So we're going to be taking a look at all of that. Definitely want to make sure you're liked and subscribed. And also head to thelines.com. Make sure you check out that odds checker. Get the best juice available from all the odds makers out there during these NBA playoffs. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's play-in games. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, the Hawks open at a pick'em, actually. I mean, -1 maybe at some books as they wrapped up the first play-in games last night. And I mean, I jumped all over that. I hope a lot of people, other people did too. It's only up to -3. I would bet it up to -5, same as the Hornets game. I mean, I think I have more respect for where the Hornets are at right now than the Cavs. And granted, it's a home road split thing, but we'll get into that a little bit more. Total's been bet down a little bit to 223.5. I think that's more a concern about the Cavs scoring than the Hawks. Again, so another angle there to back Atlanta. And then the other playing game, Clippers open -4 at home against the Pels, who did take care of business with a 10-point win over the Spurs on Wednesday night. That total is at 216, pretty low, but as we know, winner go home games, they can get very choppy down the stretch. I'm not really interested in the total for either of these games. I would be interested in just parlaying the two favorites or taking the Hawks spread and the Clippers money line. Gets you nearly plus 200. I feel confident about both teams winning, both teams with far more playoff experience. But yeah, we'll focus on the Hawks here. And really the only hang up you should have is their home road splits, that they were so much better at home down the stretch. On the road since the All-Star break, they went 5-8 straight up, but 6-2 straight up their last 8 as favorites, covering in 4 of those. Their last 5 road games, they went 3-2. The 2 losses, Josh, are at Toronto and at Miami. Those are defenses you really, really respect, defenses that actually have a good recipe for slowing down Trae Young. But they, blowing out 3 other teams that don't have that same recipe with the second best offensive rating at 124, 7th best rebounding rate. We saw what Clint Capella did to the Hornets there. No Jared Allen for the Cavs, who continue to just reel defensively. They have a defensive rating that's like 8 points higher per 100 possessions without him at this point. I mean, their defense has been bad in general since the All-Star break, especially guarding the 3-point line. Mm-hmm. That's key for the Hawks. I mean, the second best 3-point shooting team in the league. Cleveland has the second worst 3-point mark since the All-Star break at 41%. In their last 15 as underdogs, the Cavs are 2-13 straight up. Really rough numbers there, allowing 116, scoring 109, have a 122 defensive rating. So they're just playing at a relatively slow pace, but still getting burned on a per possession basis. The Hawks have beaten them twice in that span in Atlanta. They actually won in Cleveland on New Year's Eve with basically Trae Young and Clint Capella as the only starters active. This is when the Hawks were just ravaged by COVID. Yeah. So, I mean, they've won 3 in a row here. Now they're way closer to full strength. We saw the balanced attack with Trae going under and the Hawks still scoring 132 on the Hornets. So I like the Hawks over as well, 113.5 against this Cavs team that's given up consistently over that. I know they're trying to play at a slower pace, but the efficiency is such that I trust the Hawks to hit a bunch of threes here. I mean, they hit 16 in that last trip to Cleveland. Continue their incredible efficiency with Trae he's even due to have a better game than he did against Charlotte, where he just missed a bunch in the first half. And I think their offense is just going to be on fire in this game, and they'll win by 3, 4, 5 points. You get, I mean, the spread is comfortable at 3, 4, 5. I think they could win by double digits here, but you don't get great juice by going alternate line here. I would just hammer it at -3 and consider parlaying with other things you like.
I feel that. Yeah, I'm not touching that total either. Things that I'm definitely going to target in this one. I think it really ends at the spread, man. I don't really know how much I trust the offensive output of Trae Young in this one specifically. I think if you want to use some of the same logic that we used in that Hornets game for the Hawks, where we do believe this will be a little bit choppier. We kind of called how poorly the Hornets would shoot in this one in the game that they lost. I think we can even more easily predict that for this Cavs team, who outside of Garland, man, they're struggling. They don't have the wing presence right now to really hang with the Hawks. The Hawks are healthy, and when the Hawks are healthy, as we saw last year, what they have in abundance is wing players. Gallo definitely stepping it up. Bogey back. Huerter back to Huerter. Playoff form, by the way. We kind of talked about how in elimination games so far, he was the one who came up big in that last one. That when they beat the Sixers, he also came up big last night for them with his output there in about 125 individual offensive rating. So Red Velvet getting it done there, and I think we can continue to expect that kind of stuff from him tonight against an even worse, like I say, wing team on the wing for those Cavs. Outside of Darius Garland right now, with his about 33% usage rate or so over their last 5-6 games as they were hobbling into the playoffs. You just look at who the rest of the team is that's getting the minutes and getting the points behind him. And at this point, Gallo's had a few nice games, which is nice. I do think he's a solid presence in the playoffs as he continues to be pretty much their most seasoned vet when it comes to playoff experience. So I think there's plenty of value in continuing to play him the 25 minutes or so that he's getting. And I think, look, it's really just a matter of it's playoff time, and the game, it gets a little bit choppier. We talked about this. That does bode well for Capella. It just bodes well for the Hawks in general. They're the second best half-court team. And I mentioned it a little bit too late yesterday, because as we were talking about that Western Conference game with the Pellies and the Spurs, we started talking about half-court offense a little bit and slowing things down. And I was like, wait, I know the Hawks are nasty because Trae Young, as we've talked about all season, is a walking offense. So you put him on the floor with a big like Capella who can screen and roll to the hoop. Plus, they put that second screen on him usually as well, where they bring Gallo or Bogey's guy over to the second to screen the guy again, who's ever guarding Trae Young. So now he's running to the left around a double screen at the top of the key with a guy popping out on the wing for 3 with Capella rolling to the rim. So like I said, second best offense, 116 points per 100 possessions in the half court offense is Atlanta. So that's good for second best, just behind Utah, actually, who we will talk about as well against those Mavs, a series that changed dramatically with the Luka injury news. But in this one, look, man, the Cavs are kind of roasted at this point. Mobley looks, fine for where he's at, but as the only interior presence right now, alongside basically Chetty Osman and Kevin Love, there's just not much there for them. And I think Capella definitely gets those double-digit rebounds again. You consider some double props for him if you like, because I think he's going at least 10 and 10 once more.
Yeah, and Trae, we talked about, he only averaged 20 points per game against the Hornets, did a pretty good job on him. Look at his numbers in these last 3 wins against the Cavs: 35 points, 9.7 assists, a 136 offensive rating, shooting 46.5% from deep, plus 36 plus minus. Yeah, you talk about a half-court offense right there. He's going to carve them up, just like Kyrie did. I mean, we were giving Isaac Okoro some respect for the job he did in the regular season against Kyrie. Well, Kyrie just shredded him and that entire Cavs defense. Once it started playoff time and playoff Trae, despite his one off game there in the first play-in, I think playoff Trae will come out. But the Hawks don't, like you said, they don't depend on fast break points. They're actually dead last in that. They're 20th in paint points. They're 22nd in assisted field goal ratio. They just beat you with great individual play in the half court. I mean, between Gallo, Bogey, healthy now. They weren't even that healthy last year at all. This team is actually in better position to handle this matchup. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and say, they're going to give the Heat trouble in the first round. if they win this one. But I think I haven't felt this confident about a game where it's -1 to -3 in a long time. I would definitely wager healthfully on the Hawks.
Yeah, I did. You told me to, and I did. We were talking about this the other night as we were actually recording baseball, and you were just basically like, "Look, man, -1, -2 for it's." And I completely agree. And like I said, we both felt great about the Hawks last night or a couple nights ago when they beat the Hornets. And I think we feel that same way about them in the Cavs game tonight. It's going to be, in my opinion, a very interesting Miami-Atlanta series. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and count the Cavs out, as I know that Darius Garland can still put on a performance. If he gets any kind of help from anybody, maybe they have a shot. But I still do love the Hawks by 3. Like you said, love them up to 5. Might even just consider an alternate line right now on DraftKings and actually get them up to about 4 or 5 points. Maybe get closer to about +150, +180 on my money there. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Couple of really fun play-in games that we will be watching with you guys this Friday night. So until we see you next, happy betting.